Welcome to Gutter Trash, episode 371, Royal City by Jeff Lemire. My name is Eric.
I am Jason.
Hello, Jason.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's pretty good.
That's good.
Feeling a little better.
That's good.
I've been sick for like 4 days.
Yeah.
The snot is not flowing as its usual fountainous projectile version.
Good to hear.
It's more just like a steady seeping.
It's a sign that it's getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just really stoked.
Cool. Now you've just ruined the show, though.
Oh. That's what happens. Yeah. How about you? What's up? What's up? Dog?
D-.
Oh. Hey. Could be worse.
I guess. Not much.
Well, fucking Royal City then.
Alright then.
So, I was thinking about this earlier today. I think this is the third or fourth. I think this is the fourth Jeff Lemire book we've done.
I know we've done Sweet Tooth.
And I still don't know how to pronounce his name after.
Neither do I, so I stick with Lemire. We've done Sweet Tooth, we've done Underwater Welder, and Trillium. For sure,
yeah.
Yes.
I think that's it. Because those are the three that I was thinking of.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So
we keep going back to the well.
So Gutter Trash enjoys a Jeff Lemire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he might be our new reigning champion as far as returning, not visitors, because he's not here.
No, of course not.
But I don't know if we've done...
Creators that we go back to the well for.
Yeah. Maybe Nate Powell is up there, too.
Yeah, I know we've done at least 2 of his. Mm-hmm. I know maybe 2 Ed Brubakers. We've done at least 2 Robert Kirkmans.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think everyone else is like a onesie-twosie.
Yeah.
Well, it's too bad this book sucked.
Better luck next time, Lemire. Lemire, whatever. Who knows? Is that a spoiler?
I guess, because that is flat out my opinion of it.
You didn't like it at all?
I did not.
I was incredibly disappointed.
Okay.
As well.
All right. I am shocked. I honestly thought you were gonna come in saying this was the best thing ever.
I think that's why I was incredibly disappointed. Was I expected to love it?
Right.
Because I've read a lot of his books, like even not on here.
Sure.
And
as have I.
I generally like all of them quite a bit.
Yeah. I've even enjoyed some of his superhero books.
Yeah. I've never stooped that low.
Well, sure you have.
Have I?
Black Hammer.
I guess that's a superhero book.
It's absolutely 100% a superhero book.
But it's like...
It's a twist on superheroes, but it's superheroes.
When I thought you were talking like Death of Vex and Wolverine and all
I've never read any of that shit.
Because, I guess Platona is a superhero book if you...
Yeah, there you go.
That far, even though she's a corpse for the entire series.
Spoiler.
I think everyone knows that.
I didn't.
That's in the tagline on the back of the book.
Have I looked at the back of the book?
No, maybe not. Well, she dies on like the first page. So
okay.
It's not like a huge...
Right.
But no, okay, so... I remember being excited about this because I read he said this is like one of his most personal stories. He's been wanting to tell this for a long time, and he's writing it and drawing it, and I fucking love his artwork.
Yeah.
So I was stoked to read this book.
Okay, so last time when you picked this book, like I was like, I've never heard of that, but like I've heard of this. Mm-hmm. I just never... For whatever reason, I just never paid attention to it. Right. Like, I knew it existed and I knew it was out there, and but it just, I don't know, never grabbed me just by the description of it.
Right.
And I like his art. I like him. So I don't know what it was that prevented me from checking it out initially. Maybe I was just getting it confused with Matt Kent's Grass Kings.
Right.
I don't know. Matt Kent does Grass Kings, right?
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah.
I know I've seen Grass Kings, but I can't remember who does it.
Right.
It's really watercolor. It kind of looks like, like in the same vein as Lemire's artwork.
Right. And Matt Kent has a similar aesthetic, I would say.
Sure.
And for some reason, I just conflate those two together sometimes. I don't know why. I think probably just...
They've worked together before.
Okay, and I feel like both of them, like, started off, like, as sort of indie dudes who both sort of broke into the mainstream at the exact same time.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I don't know. I just, for whatever reason, just never really gave this much thought.
Mm-hmm.
And so you picked it, and and then you immediately went on vacation.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh man, it's gonna be like 2 weeks before like I read this thing. And we happened to be at a comic convention shortly after the last show.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And I found every single issue in a $1 bin.
Right. It's pretty good.
Which is super good.
That's like $5.
Yeah, it's like half of the trade, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to read this while you were away, and then you were able to read it on your own, and I now own these, and don't want them.
So not only do I own these, but I own the next 5 issues because I've been buying them all. Because the first 5 issues that we read is the first storyline.
Right.
The second 5 is the next storyline. I think the third storyline starts in like a couple weeks. Which, spoiler, I don't think I'm going to buy that third storyline. But since I already own the second storyline, I am going to read them.
Okay. I am curious as to what your opinion would be of the second storyline, because he makes a lot of noise, especially in the final issue of this story, about how the next arc is like a real game changer for it.
Right.
Which I guess that would mean there has to be a game.
Okay, so let's talk about it. So the concept, I remember reading about the concept before it was out. I think it was in like an Image Plus. There was like a cover story about it.
Yeah.
And it's basically this family who has lost the youngest member of their family, like a 13 or 14-year-old boy died.
Yeah, Tommy
Pike.
Yep.
And each member of the family is sort of visited. I wouldn't say haunted because it's not like a negative experience. He visits them spectrally, and he appears differently to each one of them. He appears like their age or
how they want to see him. I think.
Yeah, because some of them he's younger than them, and
because the mother sees him as a priest. Like a fully grown adult priest. The sister still sees him as a little boiled.
Right.
Or a little boiled.
Yeah, he's a boiled egg. It's really weird that she wants him to be a boiled egg.
She sees him as a little boy. Who's the other brother?
Richie.
Richie, is he the scumbag?
Yeah,
okay.
Hey, us drunks aren't all scumbags. There's a dividing line.
Yeah. But Richie, sees him as, sort of,
his age, sort of.
His age, and also kind of just a white trash kind of just dude.
He's also kind of like the devil on his shoulder. He keeps talking doing all these terrible things.
Yeah. And, the second brother.
Pat,
that's right. Doesn't he see them? He sees all of them, doesn't he? But mostly he sees them as he was apparently when he died.
Right.
Yeah. And then, the family all comes together because the patriarch suffers a stroke. So they're all coming together to visit him at the hospital, and they're
kind of a broken family.
Oh yeah, they do not
like each other.
They do not like each other.
Maybe a couple of them like each other, but there's a lot of divisions.
It's very dysfunctional. Yes. But also, not much else happens.
You're right. Yeah. I know, I kept expecting... Like, I don't mind slow-paced. In fact, I kind of love it.
Sure.
But there's like nothing really going on here other than watching, like trying to remember all these family members' names and watch them like go to work and stuff.
Sometimes,
like
yeah. Like they all have their own little personal flaws that are on display.
Right.
Like the sister has like a rough marriage because she's trying to shut down the factory in town, Royal City.
To make room for like condos and golf course.
Yeah.
And like, okay, so Royal City is kind of like Dayton, Ohio in the probably 60s or 70s. Like all it really is known for is being an industrial town.
Right.
But the factory is like, it's losing sales and steam after all these years.
It's Ardelco.
It is Ardelco.
Yeah. And yeah, so she's working on a plan. She's like a real estate mogul, and she's trying to work on a plan to revitalize the city. And so her plan is, turn it into sort of a tourist town, but that would mean closing the plant. Her husband is the foreman at the plant. And he's very against all this because he'll basically lose his job. Mm-hmm. And then like Patrick is a writer who's struggling to write a new book. Sort of gets revealed that he essentially stole his first book, from his dead brother, basically.
It was basically his composition notebook.
Yeah. And he's got a troubled marriage with, an actress, and then, Richie is, just basically kind of a loser, who's just, like, in a lot of trouble with, like, loan sharks, and then the mom is just, she's just kind of a bitch.
Yeah.
Right. And then, the father, we don't know much about him.
He likes old radios.
But yeah, he slips into a coma within like the first 3 pages. And then like there's kind of like a weird dream sequence with him.
Which is probably the most interesting part of the thing. Like,
I would agree, yeah.
Like there's parts where he's like walking through this like Royal City, I guess, but all the buildings are made out of like these clocks, ancient radios and clocks and stuff, and yeah, like that's really interesting, but it just doesn't really go anywhere.
But yeah, like I wouldn't mind reading the story about this dysfunctional family, like trying to figure out, I guess, how to move on. I guess this is where it's maybe going.
Right.
And all of them in their own ways dealing with the loss of their brother, like who also is, for lack of a better word, haunting each one of them.
Yeah.
But maybe not in 5-issue monthly chunks.
Yeah. It's and that's another thing too. And like I've thought a lot about this in the last week because I'm like, why don't I like this? Because I like his writing. He very rarely puts anything sort of light or fun in his books. They're all pretty dark.
Yeah.
Which is a nice contrast with his like super cartoony art style.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like most of his books that I really like have something kind of weird or fun or strange or light that happens. It's peppered in there.
Right.
This one really doesn't, other than unless you consider his artwork the fun part, which
I wouldn't.
I mean, it's cartoony, but it reminds me more of like Raymond Pettibone artwork than it does like Garfield. So it's dark, even if it is cartoony. And I love his art. I think it looks great.
Oh yeah.
But I was imagining if this was drawn by like someone that just drew things pretty straight and realistic, I think I would have been done after issue 2.
Right.
Like I really do.
I will say this, they're easy to read.
Yeah.
Like I breezed through these.
Oh, yeah.
But even still, like, I was bored.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a slog, it's just boring.
Yeah.
There's just not much to it.
There's the illusion of substance.
Right.
Like I really feel like he probably does have like
Grand plans.
Great plans for us, but
like this could have been 1 or 2 issues.
Yeah. Yeah, if it were me, like, I mean, I guess it is me. Like, I like Jeff Lemire.
Yeah.
You say, hey, you should check out this comic, and because Jeff Lemire did it, and I grabbed the trade, which is essentially this.
Yeah.
There is nothing about this that makes me want to get the second trade.
Right. Yeah.
Except, I saw some of the variant covers were kind of neat.
Oh, yeah, I love the Jeffrey Brown Sonic Youth variant cover.
Right.
That's so good.
Yeah, that's another thing I remembered, like, after last episode was that I had actually sent you a picture of the variant covers, like, hey, have you seen this?
Yeah.
And you were like, yes.
Yeah.
Dumb fuck.
I didn't say dumb fuck. I typed it on my text and I backspaced it. I was like, I probably shouldn't say that.
No, yeah, one of the variant covers is a riff on Sonic Youth's Goo album.
Yeah.
Which
is probably in my top 5 favorite albums ever.
Yeah. And also,
Jeffrey Brown is one of my top 5 favorite cartoonists ever.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Plus, you had a cat named Goo who recently passed, and you yourself did a tribute to that album with your cat. And so, like, all those things, like, formed in my head. I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, like, I need to have that.
Right, yeah. And so, once I remembered that, part of me was like, okay, like, I'm super looking forward to Royal City.
I know, and like I said, I'll read issues 6 through 10 because I own them. They're, like, at my house.
Right.
And I'll definitely keep number 6 that has the Jeffrey Brown cover.
Sure.
But I could see myself giving the rest of them to somebody that may or may not enjoy them.
Right. Like, who, I mean, other than Jeff Lemire, who is this book for?
I don't know. Maybe people that, like you said, don't know how to move on from a family trauma or something.
Sure. Maybe. I don't know, because, I mean, my family has had some trauma, and...
Sure.
Like, we all suffer from, various ghosts, real or imagined, and, but, like, most people in the world don't get any kind of closure, but, if you're reading a piece of fiction, like, you want something.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And so, I'm about to spoil something.
Okay.
So, like, over the course of maybe the last couple issues of this trade, this character appears and talks to Pat, the son who's, like, the writer.
Yeah.
Who seems like maybe the most decent person out of all these.
Maybe. I mean, he's a plagiarizer.
Well, yeah. What writer isn't, really?
Well, also true. And, I mean, he plagiarized from a dead person, so,
that seems
fine.
Yeah.
It's fine, yeah. Alright, so he's the best guy in this book.
Yeah. And so he's visited by someone, and he thinks at first that they're a fan that wants his autograph from one of his books, and he kind of embarrasses himself by, saying something to that effect.
Sure.
And you come to find out this person is not that, and the very big reveal at the end of this trade or this series is that that's his niece, I guess, or nephew or something. I can't remember if it's a boy or a girl, honestly.
I think it was a girl. And, niece, because she says, you're my uncle.
Okay, that's what it is. So that's like the big, crazy reveal, and I'm just like, okay,
who cares?
He's not Darth Vader.
Right, yeah.
And the entire series has been me memorizing all of his other family tree members.
Right.
Like, this is nothing. This is just one more person who's related to this guy.
Well, there's no real build up to it. There's no, like, even just a hint that, like, one of his siblings, whoever it is, like, may have had, like, an indiscretion or something like that.
Right.
Because it should be mentioned also that, this is a very white family.
Right.
And she is not.
Yeah. She's a very brown person.
Yes. And as far as I can tell, there are no other brown people in Royal City that were ever introduced to or seen in the background or anything.
Is the fact that she's a different race, is that supposed to be like the shocking element, like the mystery of the series, or what?
I don't think so. I mean,
because if that's supposed to be like the big thing, it doesn't do anything for me.
No, no, not at all. I'm gonna say the race issue is not an issue at all, but like it was just the one obvious thing that stood out to me about it.
Sure, yeah.
I'd like to put a lot more stock into Jeff Lemire about setting things up, but like if I just had to guess right now, like I'm guessing that she's Tommy's kid.
Oh yeah. Tommy is the dead kid, right?
Tommy is the dead kid.
Didn't he die when he was like 14?
14, 15, whatever, yeah. I mean,
okay.
If we judge by the what little we get to read in his notebook, he just seems like the same kind of shitty 15-year-old that we would have been in the early 90s.
Sure. Yeah, that could be interesting, I guess. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, man, this is this is 5 issues in.
Yeah. I mean, it ultimately means nothing.
Yeah.
Like to anything that we had read up to that point.
Right.
And it definitely is not any kind of reveal that makes me like, oh my god, I need to see what happens next.
Right. Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
It's like, it was just like, oh, okay. And then, oh, wait, that's it?
Yeah.
Because I think that is literally the last page.
I think it is. It's the last page, yeah. It seems like the end of maybe issue 4 would have been a better
place to put that and maybe develop that a little.
Well, yeah. But I mean, where's the scene where Pat sees all the versions of Tommy?
I think that's the first issue.
Is it the end of the first issue?
Yeah.
Well, that's where they should have ended the trade. Yeah, it is. It's the end of the first issue.
Yeah.
So that was like a much more, I don't know, impactful image. And
I agree with that.
Stopping point.
Yeah. I mean, even again, spoilers. The dad waking up would have been, maybe a better place to end for now.
So at the end of the 5th issue, the dad wakes up from his coma and says he wants to go home.
Yeah.
And that's kind of interesting.
Right.
But at the same time, it's still not like it.
Oh, it's still not great.
There's nothing gripping about this, which
not at all.
Which, like I said, not that every comic book has to be gripping and amazing, but like his books, like this one has there's no lightness and fun to it, so it's not just like an enjoyable read. It's like you're trying to get something from it.
Right.
And I got nothing from it.
I got nothing from it either. Like. Yeah.
And admittedly, we are not smart. We've talked about that.
Sure. But I don't think this is an intelligence issue for us here. This is a very straightforward story.
It is, yeah.
Like incredibly straightforward.
I'm sure there's some metaphors, and I even kind of wondered, because I was trying to think maybe there's something I'm missing. I was like, is the old man, is he like the personification of Royal City? Because Royal City is kind of dying. Royal City is what is bringing all of his family together.
Right.
Like I was trying to think maybe it's a big metaphor and he represents something. But then the more I thought about it, I was like, well, that doesn't really make that much sense either.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think there's any kind of hidden depth that we're missing. I just think that it is
kind of a weak comic.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I don't know. I'm trying to think about it in like soap opera, sort of metaphors here.
Mm-hmm.
Just like a weekly TV show about just like, people's family drama.
Right.
And like, you can watch a soap opera and like a daytime, normal, everyday soap opera.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people fall into comas and occasionally there's a ghost.
Sure.
I mean, one life to live. There we go. It's on every single day, and you can probably skip like 2 weeks of it and still pick up from the story.
Exactly. Right. Like, maybe that's what this is.
Maybe that's what this is, where he is just long-term planning out like this huge family drama, but like as a monthly comic that then takes like what, a 3 or 4 month hiatus between story arcs.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like, I don't think that it works that well. Not for that. Like, maybe this would read better in like, like an omnibus chunk.
Right.
Like, if he did this like as a series of like thick ass graphic novels.
Yeah. Like blanket style.
Right, yeah. Or even, like, I mean, I haven't read Essex County, but, like, those look huge.
Mm-hmm. Right.
like, maybe in that sort of manner.
He did say this, he was kind of going back to his Essex County kind of roots or whatever for this, because it's just more like, like a personal drama or whatever.
Right.
But, yeah, I gotta say, it's not amongst, like, the top 5 things I've read by him.
Right. I mean, I think it's just a matter of, the characters needed to be more fleshed out and more relatable. Like
they're all pretty unlikable.
For the most part, they're all pretty unlikable.
Like, the most likable person is the old man that goes into the coma.
Right. And he's in the book maybe like 6 pages out of all 5
and
issues.
And he's asleep for like 4 of them.
Right, yeah. But like, I mean, like, I can understand. I mean, it's all set up to like, I mean, I guess like the next story arc is going to take place in like the 90s.
And so it'll be about Tommy
right,
while he was alive. Like, before he died.
We're, I guess that would be setting up like, this is how the characters got to this place. But, unfortunately, while that might be interesting, reading about how they're all fucked up now, like, doesn't do me any good.
I don't know. Okay, so if this was written by someone who I'd never heard of before, I'd be like, I'm probably not going to read anything else by this person.
Right.
And I think that's what bugs me the most, is I know he's a great writer.
Right.
In fact, his book, Gideon Falls, that just started, is like the best first issue I've read in years of the book. It's amazing. And he is
even
clearly...
with the art?
Even with the art.
Okay.
I like the art.
I'm not a fan of Andrea Sorrentino or whatever that guy's name is.
I thought it was good. And, but like, so examples like that and Underwater Welder and, other things, I'm like, he is clearly a really talented writer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, I don't know if I'm not getting something or if this is just not that great.
I'm gonna, yes, we're idiots.
Yes. It's documented.
I'm gonna stand by that we're not missing anything here.
Right.
Like we're getting all that there is to get, like, at least from these first 5 issues, and there's just not much there.
Right.
It's the same thing, that I think we both said about Animosity, was like, it's like you can't have, a trade paperback's worth of comics out and not have a story in it.
Yeah. Right.
And I mean, sadly, that is exactly what this is.
Yeah.
There is no story here.
No, I agree. And I only know one other person that reads this book, or I should say read this book, because she marked it off of her file after like 3 or 4 issues.
Wow.
And she buys like everything that he does at our store. So next time I see her, I'm going to ask her like, hey, what did you think of that? And like, see if she had the same opinion.
Yeah, cause I think it is very clearly stated we are both fans of Jeff Lemire.
Yeah.
And we both think that he is very good at what he does. And even this is very well done. The art is gorgeous.
I love his artwork. Yeah, I really do.
Yeah.
And like I said before, I would have given up well before if this would have been just a real straight, straight art. If it would have been whatever the guy's name that's drawn, I can't remember his name, that's drawn Gideon Falls. If it would have been him, I would have given up after a few issues.
Sure. Well, that guy's kind of not green anyway. I really don't like that guy.
What else did he do? Did he do Old Man Logan or something?
He did, I think he may have done Old Man Logan, but I know for a fact he did Green Arrow with him.
Okay.
At DC, and
it's not the art style that I'm usually attracted to, but I thought it was totally fine for Gideon Falls.
It's.
I think it actually worked better than Jeff's art would have worked on Gideon Falls. Honestly, like it gave it a different tone.
And that's I like his artwork a lot, but I also think Dean Ormston is he's great on Black Hammer.
Great. Yeah, he's great. Or Rob Liefeld would have been good for this.
Sure, yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong with Rob Liefeld ever. No, it's just, there's not enough story here to make this worth reading.
No, it's really not. And number 1 is like an extra sized issue too.
Yeah. Like they're... Yeah, like removing the ghostly, weird supernatural elements from the story, which are minor.
Yeah.
For the most part. Just as a story about, a family drama, there are interesting bits here and there, but not enough to sustain, what he's given us.
Yeah, there's some interesting dynamics, like you mentioned. Tara, the sister, is trying to have the factory closed for development, and her husband, Steve, maybe?
I don't know.
There's a lot of names to remember.
There are. There's at least 6.
Steve's like the manager of the factory, and so there's a little dynamic there where, they're both at opposition to one another, even though their jobs are part of the same household, money, so it's kind of weird. But stuff like that is few and far between, and it's just, it's kind of just disappointing.
And even the Ghost Tommy stuff is not present enough to be interesting enough.
Right.
But
I do like about the Ghost stuff how no one is freaked out by Tommy's presence as a ghost. Nobody is. They're just like, oh, how you doing?
There he is, even Patrick, who it seems like it's more of a new experience to him that he sees Tommy. And even goes so far as to try to remedy the situation, trying to exorcise the ghost out of his life a little bit.
I can't remember that. What did he do?
Tommy basically says that he wants his notebook back. And so he starts tearing out pages and throwing it in the river.
Okay, that's right.
But because it seems like everybody else in the family, or at least the siblings and the mother, are all sort of, they are very familiar with Ghost Tommy in their lives, and being involved with him, whereas Patrick has been away for a long time and is more shocked by it, but still very accepting of it.
There is something weird though, where Richie, the drunken wastoid dude, he there's something he says where he seems surprised that Tommy didn't help him carry something.
Yeah.
He says you couldn't help me with this or whatever, and Tommy's like, oh, it's all up to you. So I'm like, does he not know Tommy's dead, maybe? Do he thinks he's...
I think he knows Tommy's dead, but, it could be he's just so wasted he just doesn't realize that he's a ghost.
That's true, yeah.
But also, there are elements where he does also seem to totally realize that there's, like, cause he gets his ass kicked at one point, and, you know, obviously Tommy doesn't help him, and he kind of berates him for that, but also realizes that, well, of course, you know, he's not gonna help. Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, it's just, yeah, super disappointing.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
I will, like I said, I will actually read the rest of them.
The
rest that I own.
Yeah,
if you want to borrow them.
I'm curious to see if indeed, like, it's a game changer enough to the point where, like, because, I mean, you know, there are times where, like, I always go back to Breaking Bad. Like, I thought the first 5 episodes of that show were really not that great.
Right.
And I was like, why am I still watching this? And then, like, you hit the 6th episode, and suddenly, like, the switch flips. And you're just like, oh, this is what's happening. And this is great. But it would not be as great if I hadn't have sat
through the first 5.
Right. So maybe it's that type of situation.
I hope so, because we're at number 6.
Right. Exactly. So there is a part of me that's curious, but there's also the part of me that read this and just was really disinterested by the end.
Yeah, and it's not like, so if Jeff Lemire would have been like, okay, all I'm doing for the rest of my life is Royal City.
Yeah.
We'd be like, okay, well, I'm going to hang in a little longer because he clearly knows what he's doing. But no, he writes like 4 other books.
Sure, yeah. So, like, we can get our Jeff Lemire fix other ways.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I want to hear your opinion of the next story arc, and then maybe I'll decide if I want to read it myself.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah, I'm very curious as to what you think about. Because I'm also very surprised that you didn't like this either.
Really?
I seriously thought that you would have loved this.
Because, just...
Because it's a slow family drama.
Yeah.
That with pretty art.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not enough to, like, wrap itself around me. And like, I think I liked elements of it all the way through, but yeah, it's just not enough.
There are moments, but exactly not enough. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I got nothing else to say about this book.
You know what? Can't all be gold.
Nope, I can't.
Even you know, some of the best writers and artists make crap sometimes.
Right.
Yeah. And that just makes their rising from the ashes that much better, right?
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
It gives it something to compare it to.
Exactly. Alright, let's take a break.
Okie dokie.
Figure out what I'm gonna do with these 5 comics that I don't want anymore.
I'm gonna trade them to Maverick.
Okay.
to gutter trash.
Hey, hey, hey.
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 So any revelations on Royal City during the break?
Nope. Not at all.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah. Yeah. Once again, I do not think we missed anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll see. I guess we'll find out. Maybe I haven't read any reviews of it. Maybe I'll read a couple online and see if
they're pointing out anything.
Yeah. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
And you're the only other human I've ever talked to who's read them.
Yeah.
Talked to about this book. So.
Yeah. Well, that's one of your mistakes right there.
Yeah. So what else is happening?
Nothing good.
You read anything good other than Royal City?
I've read some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's good or not is sort of up for debate. I'm a big fan of the DC Comics character, the Spectre.
Oh yeah.
And a couple weeks ago, I managed to track down one of those old, well, not old, but one of those black and white showcase reprints of a bunch of Silver Age Spectre stories.
Yeah, those are cool.
And I'd never really read any Silver Age Spectre before. Like most of the Spectre stories I've read have all been from the 80s onward. So they are very different than what I expected.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Like darker?
No.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I guess they're dark for being, Silver Age DC. But, lots of talks about demons and, universe shattering kind of events are happening. But there's also just a whole lot of, just talking about entering dudes' bodies and,
yeah, okay. Good old Jimmy Cork.
Yeah, yeah. So Jimmy Corrigan, the world's smartest boy, he and the Spectre apparently, like in all the comics I'd ever read, the Spectre is the wrath of God.
Right.
And it's just sort of a manifestation that, comes forth out of him, and he is the Spectre, and he is, meting out justice on behalf of the Lord. Whereas the Silver Age is more like they're just kind of two separate dudes. Like, one of them is just kind of just a tough as nails cop, and then the other one is just kind of a tough as nails, omnipotent deity, just sharing a body and trying to get along.
Yeah.
I mean, it is at times borderline sitcom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like it could have been.
Yeah, yeah. Like there's one of the stories I read was like the Spectre witnesses like a guy like getting killed, and so he rushes to like save the guy, but his spirit has already left his body. He manages to save the body, but the spirit is like drifting away, but he still wants to be alive. But he needs to find a body to enter. And Jim Corrigan's right there, who is empty because the Spectre's out doing other shit.
Right.
And so he takes over Jim Corrigan's body. And so the Spectre, like once he, has everything wrapped up, he like tries to enter, Corrigan again, but he finds that there's no way he can get inside his body.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, there's a bummer.
And I was like, man, haven't we all felt that way sometimes? It's like, there's just no way I can enter you right now.
Oh, jeez. I'm uncomfortable. That could be a really interesting, like, dark Vertigo-esque kind of Jim Spectre story, though. Like, if some other spirit enters Jim Corrigan's body and then like he went mad or something, and he's
That's
just like,
basically kind of what happens.
oh wow, that sounds cool.
This basically, because the dude who got killed was basically a bad dude, and so his spirit takes over Jim Corrigan's body, and he basically just becomes a real asshole.
Wow,
Yeah,
that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Why didn't we read that instead of Royal 3?
Because it was like 900 pages long.
Yeah,
and we would have had to scour through that book to figure out which story it was. So yes, I've read a little bit of that, not too much of it. Yeah. And I bought again another reprint series like in the 80s. DC used to do this quite a bit in the 80s, and I kind of like it. Like they would put out like a mini series, like in like almost like a prestige format, like on the Baxter paper and all that.
Oh,
of old like Silver Age stories.
Yeah.
And so there's a 7-issue Dead Man series that it's just reprints of all his initial appearances.
Oh, that's cool.
Bought that recently, and like $1 each, yeah. And so I read the first half of the first issue of that with Carmen Infantino art.
Oh,
yeah.
He's awesome.
Yeah. Although, man, like, Dead Man, to me, Dead Man is the Kelly Jones skeletal, like, spine.
Deformed.
Yeah.
Right.
But, like, prior to that, Dead Man just looked like your normal, everyday, buff superhero dude. And it's weird to me.
I know what you're saying, because, like, once an artist kind of, like, it's like when Johnny Cash covered Hurt. You're like,
right,
from there on, it's just like that.
That's his song, yeah.
But I've seen so many of the regular hero Dead Man appearances before I'd ever seen the Kelly Jones.
Right.
That is what I think of. I don't think of the Kelly Jones first.
See, like, I had seen some, but, like Kelly Jones is the one that really, like, just grabbed me.
Right. Yeah.
And so, like, even though, yes, I have seen far more
of
old school Dead Man, like, it just always seems weird to me.
See, I'd rather see Mike Allred do a Dead Man miniseries than just about anybody else.
I mean, that would be awesome, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I would absolutely read that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or maybe Kyle Hotz, because I saw a Dead Man sketch that he did the other day.
Yes.
That was amazing.
Well, Kyle Hotz is basically sort of like Kelly Jones's protege, so.
I know, and like, I think they're different enough that it's not like Kyle's ripping them off.
Yeah, not at all.
And I definitely like Kyle's stuff better than Kelly's stuff.
I like them equally.
Yeah. There's just something like, I think it's the amount of detail that Kyle puts in. Like, Kelly Jones stuff a lot of times has a lot of like just, empty space or whatever in the character design, and I respect that, but personally, I'm attracted more to like lots of little detail and line work.
More lines equals more better.
That's right. It's true. But yeah, I love his. So Kyle's Dead Man is great, but I would still, out of anybody on the planet, I'd rather see Mike Allred do a Dead Man series. That'd be great.
I think out of all the other variations of Dead Man that I've seen, the one that I accept more readily than the Kelly Jones version is Neil Adams.
Yeah.
Which is weird because I don't particularly care for Neil Adams.
Right. Well, his
older stuff is definitely pretty good.
I do kind of love how weird his new stuff is, because it looks strange.
Yeah.
But it's just weird to me because it looks like it should have been like the stuff that came before his other stuff. Because it looks like he hasn't figured it out yet. But it's like it's
like it's on the verge of it. Yeah,
it's like on the verge of becoming good. But he used to be really good, so it's really strange.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, I actually kind of like his new style, but only if it wasn't by Neil Adams.
Sure. I get it. Nobody wants to be yelled at that the earth is hollow.
But we know it is.
Now, is it hollow or is it flat? Come on, get it together.
Well, it's flat all the way around. But it's like a thin crust with a bubble inside. It's flat and hollow. That's how we should start our own website for the hollow flat Earth.
So basically, it's like a Domino's pizza.
Yeah.
It's just a really thin crust with lots of air bubbles.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Every time you see one of those air bubbles, you think maybe it's going to be all gooey and cheesy inside, but
it
no, it's
never
just
is.
a dried out air bubble.
Yep. You read anything other than Royale City?
Not comic wise, I have not.
Well, that sounds like you've read maybe something.
I took Royal City along with me on my vacation because I went out of town for Easter. I took Royal City and I took a book I'd never read. I have never in my life read any Sherlock Holmes. I don't know why.
Not even in school?
Never. Not
really?
Once. Never.
Because I know for a fact, in one of my classes, we read like one of his short stories.
Maybe we read a short story, but if it was like
Hound of the Baskervilles, I think is like
that's
part of
the one I took with me.
Yeah.
And I'm like 3/4 of the way through it, and it's great.
Yeah.
Like, I love it. I can't believe I'd never read it before.
Yeah.
So I'm reading that, and I think I'll probably read something else, Sherlock Holmes related after this, because I like it more than it reminds me so much more than I expected it would. It reminds me of the British Sherlock Holmes series as far as like
That's weird.
But I mean, like I thought, like in my mind I was like, there's no way it could be that like rapid fire and like intelligently, like meticulously put together. But it is.
Yeah.
You know, it is. It's like that, and it's really good. Or at least the scenes Sherlock Holmes are in, because for those of you who have read it, the majority of the book is told by Watson, who is writing to Sherlock Holmes. So
right.
He's not around for most of it, but yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I love it. It's better than Royal City, I dare say.
I agree. Yeah.
I don't think I've read it.
Yeah. So, between this episode and our last, we did a comic convention.
We did.
Yeah.
Not together.
No. I mean, we were there at the same time for the most part. Gem City Comic Con was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Stuff happened.
Yeah.
And some stuff didn't. And time was had by all.
That's true. I enjoyed it.
I had a good time.
I was I was there all 3 days, even though it's only a 2-day show. But I was really only there one day, the whole day.
Right.
But I had fun. I bought some stuff and talked to Kevin Nolan for the second time in my life.
Yeah.
That was cool. Watched him draw a Hellboy sketch for a guy.
Nice.
So yeah, it was cool.
That's weird, because my that Hellboy sketch was for me. No. No. Apparently, so I was there tabling with my pal Bruce, and a friend of his is the one who got the Hellboy sketch.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Because he stopped by the table at one point to show it off.
That's funny. The most memorable part of that was Kevin Nolan was drawing, and the dude was standing there, waiting, and I was next in line.
Yeah.
And he was like inking it, and he got down to the feet, and he's like, do you have reference for Hellboy's feet? He said to the guy.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, I could pull something on my phone. And he's like, it's kind of like hooved. And he's like, and Kevin Nolan's like, yeah, I mean, I've drawn it before. It always helps to have something just to kind of look at.
So did he pull out a Kevin Nolan drawing of Hellboy?
He should have. But I said something stupid.
Of course.
Like interjected. I was like, you should just draw him with flip-flops on or something. I forget what I said. Something like that. It might have been what it was, or it might not have, but...
Right.
But then they both just kind of looked at me, and then neither one
acknowledged you. Right, yeah.
I was like, that was the right answer.
Yep. You got what you deserved then.
Yep. Yeah. But it was still cool.
Yeah. I got to talk to Kevin Nolan for a little bit as well.
Sweet.
Because I was like, hey, he for once does not have a massive line.
Right.
And that's since I was tabling there, like I didn't want to like leave the table
for long periods.
Right, yeah. But I was gonna maybe try to get a sketch, and he was all full up.
Yeah, that's what I went over to ask him to, and I had him sign a Lobster Johnson comic for me, but is that all you had? Just that? And I said, sure. I said, yeah, but I also wanted to know if I could talk to you about a commission, but nothing that I could afford to pay right now.
Right.
But maybe like I could send you something later down the road. And he said he only does commissions at cons. He doesn't take work to like do at home.
Yeah.
So maybe next time. If I see
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. He basically said that he was pretty full up, and like he thought about it for a second, and then he like looked at his list, and he's like, yeah, like I'm pretty sure the last two people on this list aren't even going to get theirs.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right. He's like, but we're in Ohio a lot, so you can get us next time. And I was like, yeah. I was like, I saw you at Cincinnati a couple of years ago, and I didn't think to get a commission or anything like that. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm sorry. He was like, oh, like I couldn't have afforded it anyway. He was like, oh, so it wasn't my fault. I was like, nope, not at all.
So is he? Like, he's clearly not from Ohio, but is he around here somewhere?
I guess. I don't know.
Pittsburgh or something?
Maybe.
Huh.
But, yeah, I mean, he said, yeah, because, yeah, we do Cincinnati and Dayton, and probably do Dayton next year. And
yeah, I wonder if you could just, like, I know he doesn't do commissions, like, if you just call him up or whatever, but I wonder if you could contact him, like, hey, I'll be at Cincinnati. Is there any way you could do it?
Yeah, I don't think he does pre-commissions. Yeah. Like, some artists do, for sure.
Right.
Like,
like if you pay them ahead of time.
Yeah, like, just, cause I see a lot of people on Twitter, be like, hey, I'll be at, like C2E2 was this past weekend. He's like, oh, I'll be at C2E2 this weekend, opening up my commissions list, and
right.
Like, I know Joe G has, like, pre-arranged to get a commission from people, like, at shows. And,
that's cool.
But apparently not him. But, yeah, I bought a couple prints from him, and he signed them, and a very nice fella.
Yeah. He seems pretty laid back and normal. Yeah, one of the best artists, too.
Definitely, yeah.
He could do a good Dead Man series. Oh my god, that'd be great.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure he could.
Because I've seen his Metamorpho, and that's great.
Oh, yeah, Metamorpho is awesome. Yeah. Pretty much anything he does is awesome.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, he's a great artist.
He's one of the best.
Yeah. And, there were a couple of other good artists there the weekend, but I didn't really. He's the only one that I approached or talked to. I got out, a couple of times to look at dollar boxes or whatever, and found. The only stuff I found was like before the show even opened on like Sunday, and that's actually where I found almost all these issues of Royal City. Yeah. Like I found 4 of the 5 issues of Royal City, and then like 3 issues of like Crystar.
Nice. Nice. The Saga of Crystar.
Yep. And then like later on, I found some blank covers that I bought for $1 each, and you and your brother like both found me the missing Royal City that I needed, and a Captain Victory that I'd been looking for.
Yeah.
Well, at that point, it was any Captain Victory.
Right.
And, I just couldn't find him anywhere.
Yeah, there was one guy that had some really, really cool stuff, like a lot of old, like Bronze Age stuff, like magazine size and alternative comics from the 80s. And most of the money I spent at that show was at his table. So
nice.
It's pretty sweet.
Was that the guy in front of the G.I. Joe photo booth?
Did not see the G.I. Joe photo booth.
Okay, alright. Huh. Really? Yeah, okay.
You could dress up as a G.I. Joe?
No, there was people dressed up as G.I. Joe characters, and you get your picture with them.
I've gotten my picture with those guys before.
Sure. Yeah.
When we were set up. Because they're actually pretty cool. They show up as like Cobra guys, and they come back in as G.I. Joe guys.
Yeah.
Same couple dudes. And they do like donations for charity.
Oh, that's nice.
So, they're pretty cool.
Yeah, I know, there were a couple of cosplayers there on Saturday who were dressed as, Cobra Commander and, the Baroness.
Nice.
And I also saw Sergeant Slaughter.
I saw him. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I could hear him.
Yeah, you could definitely hear him.
He was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, I almost thought for a second it was like the real Sergeant Slaughter, other than he'd like be in his 80s by now. Yeah.
Instead of from the 80s.
Right.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, there was a retailer, a dealer, like right across from where they were taking those G.I. Joe pictures that had like a bunch of old magazines.
That guy's cool too.
Yeah.
I know you're talking about. That guy's like an old hippie guy.
Yeah.
He's cool too. I bought a couple things from him, but yeah, the other table was near there, but yeah, he just bought a collection from someone, and yeah, there was a lot of cool stuff there.
Yeah.
Got some Basil Wolverton comics.
Oh, nice.
And I got a collection of like old pulp men's magazine covers for like $5 or something.
That's awesome.
It was really neat. Like just crazy stuff where like a guy has like a serpent in his teeth and he's like, saving a woman at the same time. Just ridiculous. Yeah, it was a good show.
Yeah, it was fun. I had a lot of fun.
It was a little slower than normal. I feel like
I definitely feel that.
But it was good.
But like, Saturday, I did not do anything, like sales-wise. Yeah. But Bruce sold quite a few of his, he had a new comic out. I sold quite a few of that and some of his older ones. And then, Sunday, it was role reversal. Like, he did not do as well, and then I did fairly well for, what I do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah.
I like that show.
Yeah, it's a good show. Kyle Hotz, speaking of, like, he...
I saw his name on the table.
Yeah?
But I walked by 3 different times and he was never there.
No. He was there for sure Saturday. Whether he stayed or not is like something else entirely. But I know at one point, like, around noon or so on Saturday, like, he walked past my table and he's like, "Hey, big guy," and he like grabbed my hand and shook it, and he was like, "Good to see you," and like walked away, and like that was the only time that I saw him.
So do you think he like left the show and didn't come back, or
maybe something? I don't know. I mean, he's got his family. And,
yeah, that's true.
But I mean, like, his kid was also listed as being at the show too, so I don't know. Maybe they just decided not to do anything.
That's weird. Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, he does do it almost every year, so maybe wanted to take a year off. I know he's got acting gigs he's doing,
that's right.
So,
yeah. It's kind of strange.
Super strange.
Speaking of places to go look at, like, awesome old comics and comic book art, next month, a place that we haven't ever journeyed to yet, even though we've tried a couple times, the Billy Ireland Cartoon Museum.
Oh, yeah.
Did you hear about their next exhibit?
I have not.
It's going to be cool.
Okay.
I don't know if you'll be as excited about it as I am, honestly, but
all right.
It's old Mad Magazine, original Mad Magazine stuff like Jack Davis and Will Elder and all that bullpen.
I mean, my excitement level was high for that, but yeah, you're probably a little more excited than I am. But man, I do love me some Jack Davis.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it starts on Free Comic Book Day.
Okay.
And
so let's bail. I'm not doing anything for Free Comic Book Day.
But on Free Comic Book Day, Sergio is going to be there to talk about that magazine stuff.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Dude, get out of it. They don't need you.
It's usually kind of busy.
They're fine.
Yeah. I used to always...
You're gonna have 17 different artists there. You can just have one of them work for you.
Sure. Yeah. Well,
and I won't be one of them.
No. Yeah, we've wisened up and brought in a higher caliber of...
Yeah, apparently so.
But I would like to go to that, but I don't think I can go on Free Comic Book Day. But that would be cool.
Just like 2 days before, just start developing a cough.
Oh yeah, I've already started now.
There you go.
See, You're really good.
Laying the seeds. Yeah.
But I think so. If anyone listening, is interested, it starts in May. It's in Columbus, Ohio, and I think it lasts until like September or something ridiculous.
Oh, nice.
It's up for a while, or August or something. But
I will say this, like I say every single time you mention a new exhibit at the Billy Ireland Cartoon Museum.
I'm not going to miss that.
Let's go!
Yeah. I'd like to. I think we tried twice, maybe, or at least once. I know we were even there, but I was super sick and it was getting late.
I mean, at least twice where we've been in Columbus near it, where we
thought we were going to be there.
Yeah. And then, like, 2 or 3 times where we, like, made plans, or, like, it's...
Tentative plans.
Yeah, like, we're gonna do this on Sunday, and then, like, somebody had to work, or something like that.
Right. Yeah, we should definitely go up there, though. Yeah. Oh, and they always do 2 exhibits, like a main one and a little one. The little one is Koyama Press, who, it's like a modern, small press, like alternative comics press, but they do, like Dustin Harbin and Michael DeForge and some of those people.
I know one of those guys, you said.
So, I'm looking forward to seeing that stuff too.
Well, yeah, I would absolutely go.
Cool.
Yeah, I got nothing else. Yeah. Just life is a fucking mess, and you're lucky I'm here right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I almost wasn't.
Yeah.
For various reasons.
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, I'm glad you are.
Yeah.
Glad you have the, like free will to roam about.
Yeah.
As you please.
Yeah. So I guess I'll pick a comic then for us to read.
I do love reading comics.
Yeah.
It's Royal City 5 through 10?
6 through 10.
6 through 10?
I don't want to read issue 5.
Oh, dear God,
no. So it's kind of funny that we both did not like this comic and both had maybe some high expectations for it, because I have a feeling that the comic I'm about to pick is probably going to suck.
Oh, okay. Like you don't expect it to be good.
I do not, but I feel like also for both of us there's going to be like some sort of expectation out of it.
Okay.
That we will probably just be sorely disappointed with.
Okay.
And I know that I am setting this up for you to veto it, but I hope you don't. Cause I feel like we could definitely have a lot of fun discussing it.
Okay. But
I would like for us to read the potentially awful Gwar Orgasmageddon.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm interested. I totally agree, though. I don't expect much. But yeah, I was actually looking at that trade earlier today, flipping through it, and I was like, yeah, I hope he does pick this eventually, because you sort of, you gave some foreshadowing that might happen.
Yeah. It was the book that I was gonna pick before you forced me to pick Oblivion Song.
I didn't force you. I merely suggested that it would be a good idea if you did so if you knew what was best for you. That's cool. Yeah.
So it's a 4-issue series from Dynamite, and the trade just came out 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Right. So it should be pretty accessible. Gwar, Gwar, the band.
Orgasmageddon,
I believe is.
I think that's right. That sounds right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
Cool. I'm looking forward to it.
There then. Can you snag a copy, or will you need to borrow mine?
I'm guessing it's still going to be there.
Okay.
But I mean, if you read it in a fair amount of time, I'll borrow yours. That way we can try to sell ours. But
cool.
We only ordered one, so we had a guy special order it, and then we ordered one for the store, and that one's just been hanging out for a few weeks. So.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Sounds good. Well then, good night, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for playing.
Yeah. Bye. Thank you for listening to Gutter Trash. You can subscribe to the show from guttertrash.net or from iTunes and leave us a review. Visit guttertrash.net for email information and for other podcasts and websites in the Gutter Trash Network. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.